We're all good. Everybody loves it. You guys know you ain't got nothing else to do tonight. There ain't nothing else on YouTube. You ain't watching nobody else. I can hear two of you, Jay.
I think we're good, though. I think I fixed it.
Who knows? Can hear Mike good now, too. It's good, Jay. Everybody's good. Okay, sound is doubled. We're ready to go. Jay fixed it. Here we go. What are we talking about?
Okay, so what we're talking about today is some of these anniversaries we got coming up on a couple different crimes. We've got Waco and we got Oklahoma City bombing. And then I also have some Chris Watts info to talk about.
Uh-oh. Chris Watts, huh? That guy. Who's that guy?
Oh, you know who he is.
I'm just kidding.
You know who he is, Dwap.
Chris Watts.
So I'm a little what do you call it? Discombobulated. Thank you. Let me just take a little breather right now. Why don't you entertain the masses?
What is everyone else up to?
I think everybody's wondering where the fuck you been.
Whatever. Oh.
How about that?
No, everybody knows I've been just around. So if you haven't been finding me on Facebook, that's just because I turned my Facebook pages off for a little bit. It's Holy Week, kids. Don't y'all know it's Holy Week? So during the Holy Week, you should try to do something. But I'm not trying to force that on you. I just did that for myself. So I figured I would download my Facebook pages, get this new studio set up, and then yeah, and now here we are. But I'm not anywhere. I'm here on YouTube right now. So
well, cool. And I'm representing the underground tonight.
I know. Check this out, though. J is for Justice. We didn't even plan that. Actually.
We didn't.
That wasn't even planned. But I have some Dwap on too.
See, I don't wear my own merch.
Whatever. I don't wear my own merch either. These are actually custom Dad with a Phone shirts. Nobody else has these.
Whatevs.
Nobody does. These are just hashtag Dad with a Phone shirts.
Yeah, I like those. Just the plain black. Cool.
Plain black. Hashtag Dad with a Phone.
Okay, so real quick, can you give us an update on Jepsi? I heard there was an article that came out, some kind of a report. Let's just do a quick update for everybody because they're asking. Not
only an update, I talked to Jepsi's mom today via Messenger. I cried with Jepsi's mom today after the news came out that the article was basically what we already knew. They said that the homicide detectives were looking into this, that this was now being looked at by the homicide detectives. But if anybody was on our phone call, we already knew that, because when we got to the messages, beer money just came in.
Oh, thanks, Josh B.
But when we got to the messages from Colorado Springs, it was the homicide unit, the violent crimes units, all kept together in that same unit. So I think they've been looking at it as a homicide from the get-go, but I don't know. So they're trying to give dates like they were looking at this thing April. So 4th. Basically what you're saying is they have all one department that handles like missing people, violent crimes, and homicide, and it's all in one group, like one department. Yeah, it would be the criminal investigation group. My dad was captain of the criminal investigations department in Tarrant County, so that department handled, it may handle bank robbery, and it may handle murders. It may handle just all these violent crimes. So that's the same thing in Colorado Springs. We have quite a few homicides every day, actually, in Colorado Springs. But so I hear. So you hear. And so, I mean, and so that department is going to be busy and going to be, pretty full with its workload. Would they necessarily call it homicide investigation if it was simply a violent crime investigation? Well, it is. It's an assault, and they're looking into assault and murder, a homicide. Well, then did they say anything about a person of interest or anything like that? No, they did not mention any people of interest, but we have to believe that they're not as. I mean, come on, we know what they have to be looking into her ex-husband because was the last one to see her alive, and I just about burned my finger right there. Saging y'all because I don't trust it.
Oh my god, we're being saged.
Yeah, I had to give y'all a witchcraft, juju or something. Yeah, I think they've been looking at this as a homicide since she first went missing, or since we first called in, or since somebody first called in, because of how it went down and how the story was told. They have obviously been watching Facebook. They've obviously been watching all the comments, the phone calls. After I told the officer he was being recorded, you know, the first thing they did is go listen to that recording. So,
my boy just gave us a super chat. I love you too.
What's up,
He said, "Love you, Mom." Aw, hey Ryan. That's so sweet.
Yeah,
I miss him, you know.
Miss him when you got your tickets booked, right?
I know. Yeah, we're excited. Got my tickets booked. I gotta just find my place. So, someone wants to know if you know anything about the press conference on Colorado schools threat is happening now. Do you got the 411 on that?
Press conference.
I would say that's a no.
Something about a lady that was like they issued a warning about a lady that had come to town.
Are they having a lot of threats there or something, or?
They are live right now. Press conference is live. Yeah, there's a live video going right now, but I don't know what's going on. Press conference, Colorado school threats, live coverage. So I don't know. It says the FBI is holding a press conference tonight on the search for Solo Penis. This is the lady. The armed and dangerous woman considered a threat to Denver area schools. Get the latest detail in our live coverage. According to the police, Pais, it's Pais. I don't know how you say that.
Pais,
18, is infiltrated with the affiliated.
You know, that's not even fucking funny for someone to be making a threat to these schools when
Columbine shootings
Friday,
April 20, April 19th is April 19th. The Columbine school shooting is in the Denver metro area and has made unspecific threats. She reportedly traveled to Colorado last night due to the potential threat to schools. A number of schools in Denver area, mostly in Jefferson County, the lockdown mode today, including Columbine High School. This
that pisses me off, man.
Steve Looker brings you live coverage of the FBI press conference on the search for Solo Pais.
I guess Dre just said this chick's obsessed with Columbine. She needs to be locked up. That's all I got to say. Someone who's that fucking crazy and wrong doesn't need to be out.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The question is so they knew about her. She got here somehow. They know she's in the area. Yeah, I thought it was 420. That happened.
Oh, it's 420? I thought it was 419.
Yeah. But no, Oklahoma City's 419. David Koresh is 419, I think.
Yep. Yeah, Almond Joy was talking about it earlier. She did say something about that. Because she lives over that way.
Yeah, no, that's up in the North Denver area. Let me see here. Do you have a picture of her, Jay? I could. I'm gonna put a link, I guess, to a picture. There was a picture of her on Facebook earlier. I think.
Ryan just said, "Why don't you tell everyone about the trip to the memorial with him?" When I came there to visit him, he took me to the high school, and we went to the memorial, and then we went and walked over. It was like 11 o'clock at night. We walked over to the school and peeked in the windows and stuff. It was really eerie, and
It was just like really crazy being there. Like how similar some of the things still look from all the pictures we saw. And then like they rebuilt the library, and there's metal detectors going into the library. It was just really crazy. So it was like 11 o'clock at night, and someone started pulling in the drive or the parking lot of the school, and we freaked out. But it was really surreal being there, like seeing those steps, you know, where kids were gunned down, and it's awful. And for someone to be obsessed with this to the point where they're making threats, it makes me sick.
Yeah,
like the cafeteria looked the same. I don't know if you remember all that footage that we saw.
No, something's just crazy right now. I got something playing in my headphones.
You do?
Just not from you, but from my side. I'm trying to
get your shit together, Michael.
Get my shit together. I know. Yeah, I have some friends that work with victim dads.
Oh wow! And the school is still a functioning high school, you guys. It's like someone asked, is it still? Yeah, 13th, sure. It's Littleton, Colorado. But it's just crazy that kids still go to school there. They have like a big plaque when you walk into the library on the wall, and it has all the kids' names that died. It just seems like it would be I don't know. I think it would be weird going to school there, but I think for them it was different. I think they took back their school, and you know, they weren't going to live in fear or whatever. You know, it's different when it happens in your town than us just talking about it.
So, yeah, one of my buddies, they work with Rachel's Challenge, which Rachel was
oh yeah,
and they like speak in schools and stuff like that.
Yeah, they even do that here in Michigan. They do Rachel's Challenge, and in Florida they did it too.
Yeah, so yeah, these guys traveling around doing and telling her story and the different things, but it's a crazy, yeah, when you hear it firsthand, and or someone go physically to this place, it's a different. I try to tell people that it's so different than even a live video when I'm able to take them somewhere and live, but then when you're standing there, I think Dre even said that it's like when she was driving around here, you're at some place physically, it's a weird feeling.
It's so real, you know. It's not just a case you're following. Like, you see people that are involved and stuff, and it's real. Those are real people that are really affected and going through this, you know. But anyways, I don't want to get off topic on Columbine too much, but that is pretty crazy. So I'm assuming they closed down all the schools this week or something. I know your kids don't go to public. I don't think
they closed them down. They're saying they just did
like a lockdown. Hi, Mrs. Underground.
You are. I don't know if you're. Yeah, you are. You're in there. You're just a little. She don't want to talk.
What'd she bring you? Some iced tea?
She did bring me some iced tea. Been down. There you go.
Hi.
All right. I love you. She don't like my little studio lighting.
She's not a night owl like us.
Why do I have all these dogs now? Take this one. There you go.
So they were in lockdown, Donna Cooter said. Donna Cooter, are you a part of the Cooter group that was in my live last night? We have a gang of Cooters, Mike. They're like officially a gang of Cooters, and they're freaking hilarious. They came in my live last night, and there's like intern Cooter, there's double wide Cooter, there was
what? I don't understand.
Dude, they're all Cooters. Their names, they're like, and they run together and they go to people's lives. They're hilarious.
Well, I want to be introduced to the Cooter family.
I know. I think everybody does, and they're so funny.
It's hilarious.
They've gotten a lot of attention lately.
Really? I haven't noticed I haven't been live, but I haven't noticed the Cooters. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out.
Yeah, they'll probably come to your lives next. Oh, Donna Cooter says, "LOL, it's really my name." So she's
okay.
you're a part of the cooter. Oh, Ruta Cooter and Boot Scootin' Cooter was another one.
That's
The
hilarious.
Cooters are fun, yeah.
Joey Justice says the Cooters are fun. The schools are on alert from the outside for tonight's
Thank you,
meeting.
Love J, Love Dad with a phone. YOLO. He changed his name. He changed his name. Love, the one that was Love Oni, Love Lish, Love Dad with a phone, YOLO or whatever.
Oh, what is it now?
And with the Anderson Cooper picture, it's Love J, Love Dad with a phone. Ooh, Donna said Cooter in the South is a pussy, but I think Cooter is my name. Oh my God, Richard's like, oh my God. Love you too, Joe Cuda stinks. I don't know what that means. Oh, there's Ben W. Cooter. We have a Cooter in the house.
We do have a Cooter. This is hilarious now.
Oh my God. Donna Cooter says, I'm a legit Cooter.
I'm legit. Like, there's some fake Cooters out there.
Romad? I don't know. Don't ask. Don't ask. Oh, thanks, Love Oni, Love Lish, Love J. He said he didn't have enough. Okay, I get it. All right, so. Woo. All right, so 4/19, we have two major things that happened. One in 93, right? Waco was 93 and Oklahoma City was 95. And then we have...
Are you asking for
well, kind of.
I don't know.
Because we know that you met David Koresh at one time in your life.
But when I was a child, a very small child.
That's why he was corrupted, y'all.
Very small child.
He met David Koresh.
Well, let's start with this. One, I was born in Waco, Texas. So
you were born in Waco?
Yeah, I was born in Waco, and I lived in a little town called Elmont, which is right outside of Waco. But I was born in Waco. My dad...
Dude, stop.
No, listen.
No, stop for 1 second.
Oh, okay.
I lived in a town that's 8 miles north of me called Elmont, but it's in Michigan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, is it ALMONT?
No, it starts with the...
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it sounded the same. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, my dad was when I was born, my dad was a police detective in Waco, but he was he was a police officer in Waco for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were in Waco. But we were not in Waco during the whole incident out there at the compound. Where I have said I never said I met him, by the way. Jay said I met him.
But didn't you?
I was a child, and I don't remember meeting David Koresh. But what I do know is that we got a dog. Like, they had somebody out there at that farm had a big litter of puppies, and we went out to the farm and got a puppy from whoever had the puppies. You know, it would have been essentially nowadays like a Craigslist ad we answered. It probably was on the paper or something.
What kind of puppy was it?
It was actually it was a Great Dane mix, so it was a lot like Muffins behind me. She's asleep, but so it was a Great Dane mix, and we named her Prince. And
wow,
there you go.
So David Koresh was a breeder?
I don't think it was like necessarily a dog breeder. It was just like there were multiple people that lived on this property, so it was like
I'm sure there was. Was this?
No, I mean it was a compound. It was.
Was it the one that burned down?
Yeah. It's the same property, same organization, everything. They just had legitimate businesses too. Like they would take fresh eggs and sell. They would sell fresh eggs, or they had different things that they did. And I guess one of the things they did is they had some dogs that had puppies, and we got a puppy from them. I do know that.
So Mike, what year would that have been?
Let's see, yeah. Now you're gonna make me ask dates. So it would have had to have been 80, 89, 88, 87, 88, 87, 88.
So like 5 years before. Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, now, but check this out. The freaky thing is now go fast track. So now, whatever year it is, it happens, and then about a year after it happens, one of my dad, we're now up in Dallas or Dallas Fort Worth area, and one of my dad's really good friends is ATF agent who was on premises during that, and he's having dinner over at our house. He's telling the whole story to the family. So there's an ATF agent. His name was Mickey. His name is Mickey Rao, and he was on site during the whole thing. He was an ATF agent out of Dallas because they had a lot of Dallas agents come down as it built over the.
Wow.
No, I remember him sitting at the. I can picture it. Him telling this story to my mom and dad and me and my sisters and stuff. So it was pretty.
That's crazy. So I'm going to be talking about this on Thursday. I'm going to do like a complete live on Waco on Thursday.
I need to see if my dad's still in touch with Mickey. Get him to call into your live.
Oh my God.
How about ATA? He probably would do it too. He was crazy.
I wonder, I have to imagine he probably thought it was all justified. Was that his take or what? Do you know?
No, that whole thing was, I think they all knew, everybody knew the thing got out of control. It wasn't necessarily things were justified, but
well,
there are some things that took place. Like if I remember correctly, and I'm not 100%, so you can yell at me and tell me I'm wrong.
I will.
If I remember correctly, I think ATF showed up or local law enforcement showed up or whatever, knocked on the door, and gunshots started there, and then they backed off. That's when
right.
They started. So at that point, like as soon if you knock on the door and someone's firing guns at you from inside, it doesn't matter who's right, wrong, or indifferent.
It does though, Mike, because we need to go back and we need to look at why they were knocking on the door in the first place. Right?
No, I understand the argument of why were they knocking, or did they have probable cause to knock, or did they have warrants?
If they wanted to arrest David Crash, right, like he left the compound a lot, they could have arrested him off site without doing what they did. He left and went to breakfast. He left and went.
Absolutely.
They had no business being there, in my opinion, in the first place.
Well, I don't know about again, I don't know the logistics behind their obviously they didn't handle it in a peaceful. They weren't peace officers at the time. They were something else. They were doing something else. And so but nevertheless, if an officer walks to your door and knocks on the door and you answer with gunfire, it is not going to go good. Ever. There's not one time. The officer can, all the people in the world, you could call the governor up, you could call the president up, call whoever you want. They are going to storm, siege, come in, do whatever they have to. It's always the same thing. Like when you run into a police officer, you have to be.
They were totally irresponsible. There were children. There were children in the building. They killed those children. Ultimately, they gassed those children. Those children were curled up like little seahorses from the gas. So in that case, the U.S. government looks horrible.
It's not a justification of what they did is wrong or right. They did it. Nobody was ever charged. It's not like they're going to charge themselves.
No, but like in Ruby Ridge, I don't know if you know anything about that incident. That didn't happen in April, but that was like, there was Ruby Ridge that happened in 92. That was in Idaho. And then we have Waco. And then we have the Oklahoma City bombing, which they blamed on these two incidences where the government abused their power to a lot of people's opinions. Right?
I see what you're saying. So you're saying the Ruby Ridge, the Waco incident, then spark the retaliation.
Yes, that's what they say.
in the Oklahoma City bombing. Well, I watched the Ruby Ridge deal on YouTube. I mean, on Netflix, and in my mind, again, that's another situation of like it is, but it's something we all face today. I mean, it's something we could all face today, where if they want to come in and search your property now in Colorado, check this out. In Colorado now, if law enforcement deems that you are unfit, law enforcement deems you are unfit, they can come and just take your guns. If, like, you're not, and then they have to go through a system, right? Like this lady, okay? This lady that just came to Denver. If she lived here in Colorado and her friends were to say, hey, that lady's crazy, I'll need to go check her out. Well, law enforcement now has the authority here. They just passed the bill. I was talking to some lawyers about it. It has some wording that they have to figure out, but they can come into your house and take your guns, and you have not done anything. If they just feel like you are not fit to have guns. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's good. That's a real good thing. Well, it's the same thing they were saying with David Koresh. It's the same thing they were saying with the Ruby Ridge guy, you know.
But the Ruby Ridge guy, that was a little bit different than just stockpiling weapons.
Yeah, no, he had, they said that he was tied to different
white supremacist organizations, right? Okay, so he went to a meeting with white supremacist meeting, or he was a white separatist, right? So he believed in living separately from other races. You know, that's his, I may not agree with that, but that's his right to feel the way he does, right? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's his right to have those feelings. He lived in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. He had no freaking neighbors. I mean, he was out there living off the land pretty much. Him, his wife, and his kids. I
loved the interview with the daughter, and for all intensive purposes, if I didn't have to have high-speed internet, my family and I have lived in some really remote places, and then I had to pay for an office in town, so I was driving into town to.
So you get the living off the grid type living, you know.
I understand it. It's simple, right? Like it's simple life, and if it's a deal where you can cut your lifestyle, it goes back to the simplest tribal idea that, you know, the Mexican fisherman who goes out in the morning and catches 2 fish, right? 2 fish to take home to his family, and his wife makes rice and beans and a salad, and then they eat this beautiful fish, right? Well, one day they have the guest over, and the guest was like, man, this fish is the best fish I've ever tasted. He said, what happened? He says, well, I caught it this morning. He says, you know, if you caught 2 or 3 more and stayed out a little longer, you could sell those fish, and then you could start a fish company. Go on and on and on. He goes on and on until all of a sudden this guy has this big fish organization. But the problem is he was do all of that for retirement to then just sit on the beach, go fish, go catch it, right? Which is where he was at right at that moment. His life was a simple, I'll go catch a fish, take a siesta with my wife, have dinner and a party with the families around us, and do it all again tomorrow. And they do it every day, right? That is the
right, and that's their right to do that. Like, it's his right to live like that. And
yeah, and so when someone says, I want to go live in the mountains with my family and build a life amongst that, they want every government that has ever been created wants its people to be dependent upon the government. And that's the beautiful thing about the U.S. is we created this thing that, like, you could go west and you could get your land and you could work your land and you could have your own freedom. And now we obviously know that it's not necessarily how that works. And
so I'm not going to tell the whole story because I'm doing a live on that tomorrow, right?
For sure. Yeah.
But the thing that happened with Randy Weaver, that's his name, Randy Weaver, was he went to one of those white supremacist group meetings, and he sold a sawed-off shotgun to an undercover agent. So they said to him, hey,
Yeah.
If you become an informant for us, we won't charge you. And he said, hell no, I'm not working for you. So then it turned into this big shit show. So anyways, I'll tell the whole story tomorrow. But it's an interesting thing that happened, and it was sad, you know, because the ATF came on his property, killed his dog. They hadn't exchanged gunfire at all. And they shot his dog, and then they shot his son, his teenage son, dead. And then his wife, dead.
That was the yeah. No, the way
Horrible.
they handled that thing was
Awful. Yeah. Well, they ended up paying Randy Weaver millions of dollars after that one.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and you realize that that's where it ended up at, is it was a big mistake. They should have never ever, you know,
they never attempted to like arrest him or do anything other than hide. They figured he was a threat, so they said they hid on his property and just watched him. He had no idea they were there.
Yeah, and they did that. I mean, they do that for a lot of people. That's the thing, is they do that a lot. If they're gonna make they're gonna do a investigation on someone, they're gonna go sit out there and watch them, and they can watch you long enough. You probably are gonna do something that they can justify is illegal. That's the whole like make 3 right turns with a cop, and if he's still following you, he's gonna follow you until he can pull you over for something.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the mentality of it. They'll write up reports that we'll get you for something because we know something. Like they knew something about this guy. He had been to a white supremacy meeting. He had affiliated with some neighbors. It wasn't really he had affiliated with some neighbors that were white supremacists,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what my neighbor's into. I might have a neighbor who's a white supremacist, and I might have a barbecue, and he might come over to the barbecue. That doesn't mean I'm a white supremacist.
Right.
I got neighbors that are Jewish, and they're like strict Jewish. Their kids are strict Jewish. They have to go in at dark, and they have all these little rules they follow, right? But that doesn't. I'm not Jewish if that guy comes over and hangs out with me.
Right.
So it's that Ruby Ridge one, man. It's a hard one. I literally I was watching it just today to try to get my mind spinning with it again, and I was like, "Geez, I forgot how crazy this was."
Yeah, it was really bad. The 90s were crazy with this kind of stuff. It kind of started this big anti-government movement with a lot of these extremists,
The government.
And Clinton, I mean, let's face it, Clinton was in office, so we had a lot of corruption.
They militarized our local law enforcement. They gave hundreds of thousands. I mean, Woodland Park is an example of this. And Teller County is an example of this. This little bitty county has a tank. Like, we're the smallest county in the whole freaking state, just about. And we have a tank. And the only reason we have a tank is because the federal government gave us the money to do it. And so, like, you can ride and the Woodland Park police have anti-tank weapons. And so it's one of those things where the government has, we got a bunch of those laying around. We had a war, and here, give one to the cops, paint it black, and call it good.
Crazy. So tomorrow night, I'm going to be covering the Ruby Ridge, and then Thursday night is going to be Waco, and then Friday is going to be the Oklahoma City bombing. That's kind of the order they went in as far as leading up to one another. So,
well, I will. Let's see.
You're going to join me on one of them, right? Was it?
Well, Friday I can't because I got.
It's your birthday.
Jepsi. Well, no, Saturday's my birthday, but Jepsi's. They're doing a prayer service for Jepsi, so I'm gonna do live videos from that starting at 7:30. So hope that doesn't crush you, but.
You said Thursday though.
Thursday I can join you for sure. Thursday, because you'll go on late, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 10 o'clock.
Okay, I may be able to jump in on the way back on that one too. I'll be out that night, but I'll jump in for sure for a little bit. on.
That's Waco. So you can talk about your dog. Bring a find a picture of what was it?
I will. I'll call my mom tonight, or I'll
Would you name it David?
No.
Mike was a Branch Davidian.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
My dog was a Branch Davidian dog. So
that's so nuts, really. I mean, who can say they bought a dog from freaking David Koresh?
I can.
I have a question. Did your parents know, like, of the Branch Davidians? Did they know it was like a religious compound?
I don't think so. I think they looked at it. They probably knew there was some sort of religious something going on, because my parents are pretty in tune with that shit. But it's one of those things where, like, it could have very easily been, hey, the neighbor's ranch. We had a farm, or we had a little ranch house that my grandfather owned outside of Waco. And I think somehow it was close to the Branch Davidian ranch. And so I think somehow they were like, oh, the neighbors got dogs, y'all should go get a puppy. I think that's probably how it came about. And so then it was just, we went down there, got a puppy. It wasn't like...
Was it a good dog?
Oh, yeah. Great dog. Actually, that dog saved saved my big sister's life one time.
Really?
My big sister was playing on a tractor out at the farmhouse, actually my grandfather's farmhouse, and she was trying to get off the tractor, but there was a copperhead, and the dog wouldn't let her get off the tractor, kept her on the tractor, barking at her, and then my dad came over, copperhead. She could have stepped right on that copperhead. So.
Oh my god, smart dog.
Yeah, it was Jesus's dog. I mean, it came from Jesus, so it was a good dog. That was a joke, by the way.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Because David Koresh said he was Jesus.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean...
right over my head. Sorry, I was reading chat.
Yeah, of course you were.
Hi, Jason.
Anytime I start telling a story, Jay's like, okay, I can check out and read chat.
I do not. So yeah, it's just really interesting that you went there, and I mean, to think that the whole thing happened like 5 years after that, like, it's pretty crazy.
It had to have been right then. I'll have to I'm gonna get all the details now. Told this story. I'm like, I gotta
ask your parents, like, if they knew and what they thought of it, like if they thought it was kind of weird, if they ever heard anything about those people or anything like that.
Definitely. And the Waco bombing, I mean, not the Waco, the Oklahoma City bombing. Have you been to that memorial?
No.
Okay. I've been there. That's where me and Nikki actually met in Oklahoma. Like, I was living in Oklahoma, but that was, I wasn't in Oklahoma when it happened, but I definitely had gone to like the reflecting pool, all that stuff.
Yeah, the chairs, I'm going to be honest about it. I think the chairs are a little creepy.
Oh, the chairs, yeah.
They're a little bit creepy. I don't get the whole... And
chairs too for the kids.
Yeah, it's creepy. And I've seen like videos, where you go inside, where they have like things like shoes and like pocket watches or shit that people had on them. I think that's so eerie. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Did you walk through the building and see all the things like people's shoes and...
Yeah, we did the whole tour thing, because I remember we went to like the tree that survived, and there's like a tree that made it right next to the building that's still there. It's been a long time, so I have to really think about that, because it's been...
it's crazy, because like back in the early 2000s, I actually talked to a lot of people involved with this. This was my first... I dug deep into this thing. I have every book that's been written. I have every VHS tape that was made. I have Tim McVeigh's interviews with 60 Minutes. I mean, I wrote letters to Terry Nichols. I met James Nichols here in Michigan. I dug deep. This was like my obsession for a while. Okay?
Did you fall in love with Timothy? Like sending letters and stuff?
No, I didn't. However... You're an ass. However, and I did talk to the grandparents of little Bailey, the little girl you see in the in the picture where the firefighter's holding her and she's passed away. That was like all over the media and in every publication. But I talked to them. They don't, and a lot of those people, those victims, don't believe the story they were fed, the story that they're being fed by the government. And it was just really interesting. I spoke with State Representative Charles Key, who also wrote a book. And he was pushing it. He was a state representative there in Oklahoma, and he didn't believe the story. He was trying to get the truth. So there's a lot of info I have that I can't wait to share, because this has been my thing for a long time.
Yeah, that's a. You started thinking, like, was he a patsy? And
there's so much to this, man. So much. Yeah. It's not just this crazed kid, you know, who lost his shit and built a bomb and blew up this building. It's like, this guy he was in the army. He was a decorated war soldier. You know, he was drafted into the special ops, but they said he failed out. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. It's crazy.
It's a crazy. I mean, like, I think sometimes those stories. Like, I wonder if we'll ever know the truth behind it, or
we won't
ever know the truth behind 9/11, or we'll ever know the truth behind.
We won't, because they killed him. Dead men don't talk.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gone. He's gone, and they killed him quick.
Hey, but Jay, can you pull me one of those books off that shelf behind you there? I thought I'd.
You know, I don't want to mess with those because they're in perfect order.
Oh, I got you. I saw your new bookshelf there. I thought, man, I'd like to.
It's like just how I want it.
Okay. Well, I thought maybe you had a special Oklahoma City, like.
You know, they probably are down there at the bottom. They are. They're stacked down there at the bottom, and I'll get them out and show you guys on Friday.
Awesome.
So, after your vigil, you better hop on so you can see all my books.
I will. Oh, Jay. I love that shirt you're wearing.
I'm sure you do. Look.
But you like this hat.
I do. I like the hat.
Can't get one of those.
He requested to be killed, though, Jay. I know.
So
we'll talk about it.
What's the Chris Watts stuff you got?
Oh my God. All right. OCD much? I am kind of OCD with my books. It took me a while to set up this studio of mine. I was trying to decide, guys, like which, you know, what I wanted to put behind me, and I decided to put my bookshelf. But then I have Mike, this cool vintage lamp.
That is pretty cool. I like the vintage lamp.
Dude, it's so heavy. It's like, I think we got it. We found it at like an estate sale or something.
But you did see my Vader, right? My Vader's light with a saber and all.
Oh my God, I can't with you. You're a Star Wars person?
No, but I inherited these.
Are they fat heads or whatever?
No, those are original. Like when you used to go to the movies and they had the cardboard cutouts in the movie theaters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like these are original cardboard cutouts from the original. You know, I guess he's my ex-brother-in-law. He had a Star Wars collection of like $100,000 Star Wars.
Oh my God, my son would love that.
Yeah, he had everything, but he had these original movie cutouts. Like these are from the actual movie theater that they would have been standing in there. You know. Now I just added the light but I like that lightsaber. So anyway,
that would be cool, Rick Winter, to go to the book depository in Dallas where Kennedy was shot. Yeah, there's another Patsy, right? That's what they called Tim for some people that I met. They called him, what was his name? The one that shot Kennedy?
John Wilkes.
No, yeah, John Wilkes Booth shot
Lincoln.
Yeah. What was his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Oh, it is Booth, right?
No.
No, it's what's his name? Who's gonna win it? Who's gonna win it?
It's
in the chat. Who's gonna win it?
Oh my God, Heather Young says, "Did you rob a library?"
I saw that. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm just really smart and I read a lot of books. Those are the encyclopedias from when I was a kid.
Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald. So yeah, they called him Lee Harvey McVeigh because they put him, in the same category as like a patsy. So yeah, John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln.
Lincoln, that's what it was.
Z Storage is in the house. I haven't seen Z Storage in a while. Z
Storage, is that like? Well, I remember we had this conversation one time.
I had a lot of new. I know he was like U.S.T.H.C. storage unit.
Storage unit.
Oh my god! So I had a lot of new people join me last night. I went over in Scott Reich's chat. Saturday.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, they came over and joined me last night. It was cool because I was kind of participating there. Thanks, Josh B. He said, "Let me mess with your books."
Let me mess. That's what I tried. I tried to get her to pull me a book out, and she was like, "No, I'm OCD about my books."
I'll pull them out on Friday.
She's gonna pull.
Oh my god, Heather Young is full of it tonight. She says, "Can I get a library card out for your library?"
Right.
Shit. Okay, so let's talk about Watts. So I'm probably going to catch you up to speed because you don't really pay attention to the stuff I pay attention to. And when I text you about it, you just read it and ignore it. So I'm probably going to have to get you up to speed on this whole deal. And that is that there's a petition that's been going around. It made the mainstream media. Another YouTuber.
Pull the pictures down.
What?
Get the pictures off the wall in Chris's cell.
Oh, so you have heard of it. Okay.
Come on.
So,
For
all right.
real?
So let me just recap. So this guy, this other YouTuber, he's been going on and on. He's been saying he's got an insider from the prison that's calling him. He had someone on a voice changer that was giving him all this info. Chris is going to be moved from Dodge. He's got one picture in his cell of Shanann and the girls, blah, 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 blah. Well, I found out, and I'm not saying who I found out through because I don't need to. If you don't believe me, you don't believe me. But all I've said last night, same thing. You just wait. He's not going to be moved because he's not going anywhere. So this guy says, 2 weeks, he's going to be moving. He's not going anywhere. Number 2, he's got multiple pictures in his cell. And I said from the beginning, this is bullshit. He's full of shit. They're not going to make him get rid of his pictures. So today, it's kind of funny that this came out. The prison responded to the petition. Prison officials have responded to an online petition urging authorities to forbid family murderer Chris Watts from displaying photos in his cell of his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. In a statement to People, the Wisconsin Department of Corrections said, quote, it has no legal basis for removing the photographs from Christopher Watts. The statement says incarcerated inmates are permitted to possess certain identified items of property, including photographs. Photographs that are not allowed are those depicting gang signs, colors, or insignias, or photographs that include nudity. Period. End of story. No stupid change.org petition is going to change prison rules. Now, I don't know what you think about him having those photos in his cell, but I would think if the victim's family, which is Shanann parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rusek, if they had an issue with it, they should be the ones to start something in a big public outcry, because really all this does is kind of pick at a scab that they're trying to heal over. And this is some stupid YouTuber who is picking at that scab of the family. What do you think, Dwap?
Who's the YouTuber?
Armchair Detective.
What? Oh, Armchair. The European guy?
He's from the UK, yeah, and he's telling everybody he's got an insider at the Wisconsin prison calling him.
I love it. I love how I know who that guy is. So that's
and I'm not bashing him personally, because if you like him, you like him. But
it's the idea that
if you're don't make up shit just for views. Like, don't make up stories and go that far, like, just for views. And if I find out he's wrong, I'm going to call him out, just like anybody else if I found out they were wrong. You know, I've followed this case from day one. I've talked to people on both sides of the family now at this point. And you know what? It's real for them. Just like Mike, like when you go and you talk to Jepsi's mom and you talk to, you know, Kelsey's friends, and you go to that courthouse and you're sitting there and you're looking at Kelsey's dad. It's the same thing for me when I talk about these people, you know?
No, I understand.
So,
No, and there's a bunch of petitions. That's the new thing, is sign a petition, right?
I saw one about Kelsey. I don't know who started that one, but it's like,
yeah, they started a petition to bring, you know, a conspiracy against.
People don't understand, Mike.
They just don't understand how the system works.
Yeah, I could go on that petition and sign it 15 different ways with 15 different emails. It's not legit.
Well, and it's not also like, it's not even like a legal thing. Like,
right.
We have a law. We have a system of law that says, you know, if you go through a court system and you go and you're seen in front of a judge and you make a deal, you make a deal. Now, you might be able to get a petition signed that says we want to remove the district attorney from Teller County who gave KK her deal. That's a petition that might wake someone up. But if you try to sign a petition to file a criminal case against someone else, they're all, I mean, it's like you got to go file that with law enforcement.
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
It is a waste of time. It's a way to get views. It's a way, they're using it now, a way to raise money. They're using, because you see when you on those petitions, it's like, oh, give $2 and it'll get, you know, it's going to.
What do you mean? These change.org things allow people to collect money? Because Soul Music just said the same thing.
Absolutely. That Kelsey one for sure. I went and saw it and it was like, you can give $2 and I'll help spread, or you can give $10, or, and I'm not 100% sure on where that money goes. I didn't set it up, you know, so. But
I didn't know that.
All of these are driving by people making money. And so the guy that got $1,500 I saw, or the people who are signing these Kelsey petitions.
Can you see how much money they're getting when you go to it?
Like if you go to the Kelsey one for sure. I don't have the link.
Do you know who started it? The Kelsey one?
I know. Yeah. I don't know them, but I know their names, you know.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, you know their names too.
Oh, so, I do?
Yeah, we can talk about it off air.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
But so there's like there's things we can do in this in cases. Like here's an example. Like I'll use the Jepsi case, because I think Jay did a video. When did you do that video of Jepsi? Would you know the date?
It was last Thursday or Friday, so it would have been. Do I look like a freaking walking calendar? It was either the 11th or 12th.
It was farther than that, right? Because it was like on the. Couldn't have been last week. I made the phone call on Wednesday.
Oh, it was the 4th or the 5th then.
Yeah, it was the 4th or the 5th.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you made the video on the 4th. And like we pushed it around Colorado Springs the 4th, the 5th, and then like so a week ago on Wednesday we made that phone call to the cops, and there wasn't even a case number yet. It hadn't been on any national. Hadn't been on anything. And in a matter of 2 days, I think I told people, I was like, we're gonna make this national news in 2 or 3 days. And sure enough, it's running on Dateline now, you know, and so on Dateline NBC, and so there are ways to use social media and sleuthing and the YouTube and stuff, and then there are ways to abuse it. And a way to abuse it is to start a ridiculous petition, first of all, that is just going to bring more views to the Chris Watts case. I know you guys like to talk about Chris Watts, and even one young lady in here in chat, I don't know her name, she was like, I remember the first time Dad with the phone was on, he called us all Chris Watts freaks, and I laugh about that, and I know that people have engulfed into those lives. I now understand how you can be passionate about these things, and so I understand that. I understand how you can be passionate about it, how you can get obsessed about it.
Yeah, and we didn't get a trial. There wasn't a trial in this case, so everything was just kind of dumped. All this discovery was dumped, and then all these civilians are just sitting there reading through all of this discovery, so we didn't really have a trial to break it down and everything. It's just been crazy, and from what I'm understanding from information I'm getting is it's not over yet. We're still going
the Chris Watts stuff?
Yeah, we're still going to get more information because Chris's story has changed so much.
Yeah.
His last 5-hour interview was just vague.
Was like at one point we have to make the decision: are we going to allow this man to keep talking to us? Like, I know all of you wanting to. Like, if he did another 5-hour interview, Jay'd be like, "Shit, I'm gonna get that thing. It's gonna be 100,000 people watching tomorrow," because that's what happens, right? And so, at some point, though, like, we have to make a decision: that are we going to allow a man who slaughtered his wife and kids to continue to headlines, and are we going to continue to give him? I know we're going to talk about this. We're talking about two men. For all intensive purposes, we were talking about the other guy, Ruby Ridge and David Koresh, right? These are men who we have painted them as terrible men, but the truth is they could have been victims of a corrupt system, that could have handled things a lot differently, and so I'm not saying those guys were good men, by the way. I'm not saying the Ruby Ridge guy or the David Koresh were good people, because I don't know them, but I know what they said about him, and then the Timothy McVeigh thing, like you said, this guy was a decorated soldier, and then all of a sudden something happens and they blame him and they paint the picture, dead man tells no tales, whatever. Now you have a real 100%, we're guaranteed he got caught the day of, basically the morning of, he got caught. He did it. He got caught. Thank God for good friends, man. Like, that's one thing, like in these Jepsi's case. Had Jepsi had a close friend, Dane may not have been able to run off, right?
I know.
So, like, thank God for close friends, but he got caught the same day. He gives us a lot. I ain't gonna lie, man. When I've gone back and watched like the lie detector test and all these interviews, I'm like, bro, he didn't
have a plan. A lot of people think he premeditated this and had this plan. He clearly didn't have a plan. He didn't know what he was doing. He just did it, and then he just went with it. And then when that investigator Tammy, when she said, "Oh, did Shanann hurt the kids? And you hurt her because of that?" Oh, yeah. That's when he went on with that story. That's where he got it from. And I don't think they're looking at other people being involved. I don't think there's any evidence of that. I think that's total rumor. But I will tell you that Chris Watts is in protective custody. And what that means is he's, instead of going out for 3 hours a day, he only gets to go out for 1 hour a day.
He's 23 lockdown. So he's
23 and 1, right?
Yeah.
So he's 23 and 1, and he actually wrote the warden, and I know this for a fact. He wrote the warden and asked to be taken off of protective custody, and he was denied that because they want to cover their ass. That's a liability for them to put him out with general population, because all those inmates watched that Dr. Phil. And after the inmates watched that was when they put him in protective custody.
Well, and that's the same thing. Like, he's in a prison now, which is a little different. But like the same thing with Patrick Frazee. Somebody was like, "Well, he's in protective custody, segregated." Well, he's on 24-hour watch, and he's not in a general populated like cell block where there's multiple people, but he's not all by himself. I mean, there was when I saw him, there were 3 other inmates in the cell with him, but they were all under video surveillance. 24-hour video surveillance for suicide watch, and they were only 15 feet away from an officer. That's just in the county jail. With the Chris Watts thing, you know, he's gonna have the ability to get out of 23-hour, like he's on lockdown, 23-hour lockdown, because they're trying to protect him.
Right.
But at some point, they're gonna have to let him out. Now they still may put him in a segregated block. Maybe they put him with child molesters, or they put him with people who are violent against children, which they should, because if they put him in a regular block, even with inside the prison system, they don't like people who hurt children. And even the most violent, sickening guys who will rape women will kill a child molester and will be justified inside prison.
Like, so, they have their own morals and ethics in there.
Yeah, and the chomo thing is just not something that plays well inside the prison system. And so when you mess with kids, whether it be you kill your own kids or you mess with other people's kids, it's just not a good thing. So he's gonna always be, and they assign points to you. And so like when they start looking at his takes, and if they ever move around, he go to a new prison, they're gonna look at him and go, okay, he has a point for this, a point for this. Okay, he fits this many points. He's going in this section, you know. So,
I don't think Chris Watts, people are saying in there someone's gonna take him out. I don't think he'll get taken out in prison. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the high profile, like look at Scott Peterson, you know, ain't nobody gonna take him out. The ones they turn a blind eye to are like the guards turn a blind eye to are people like Jeff Dahmer. Like they totally set him up to get killed, didn't they? Jeff Dahmer, they threw him.
I could see Chris Watts getting set up pretty easy by guards. I could see Chris Watts getting set up by people inside the system, and I could see. I mean, I could see it happening without anyone ever knowing, in a sense of maybe it is just 3 or 4 guys inside a prison who are like, that's Chris Watts, let's take him out. And it only takes one, right? And it's not like a lot of those guys have nothing to lose. You know, the truth is anybody can be assassinated if somebody's willing to trade their life for that assassination, whether it's inside a prison or a president. And so, Chris Watts.
Yeah, kind of like that one guy, the insider at the prison was willing to risk his job to talk to a guy in the UK.
yeah, the
Christopher Watts.
Christopher Watts.
But yeah, that's pretty much. I wanted to talk about this stupid petition and the big hoopla around it, because now they're like, he's going, oh, now we need 100,000 people to sign it so we can take it to the Senate. Like, what is he talking about? The Senate?
Well, I think this is what Obama started.
He did?
Petition? Yeah, I'm not like positive. I'm not 100% positive. But at some point, there was some sort of petition thing where the president was like, we need to set up a system that if there is an important subject and we can get people to sign, then if it gets so many signatures online, then we'll look at it. So, like, I don't know for sure a fact about that, but I feel like...
Oh, wait, hold on. I got a super chat. I got to read it. It's from Zoe Justice. That's a cousin of J is for Justice. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for great crime talk. You brought us the facts last night, and it's nice to be able to rely on your correct information no matter your source. Buy your grandbaby a little something cute from me. How sweet is that? Thank you.
And did y'all see the onesie picture from Jay yet?
I showed it last night. I'm going to have to show it again tonight. Wasn't it cute?
Yeah. I can't remember what we were. Everybody's asking me if I'm all right.
No,
I'm
I can't.
always all right, people. Don't get up.
Hold on one second, Mike.
Yep, you get another one?
No, I gotta talk to my daughter for a second. Hold on. Just keep talking.
Oh, you're saying I can keep talking?
Yeah.
I don't know. What should we talk about? I'm just teasing. Oh, we're talking about baby onesies. I'll tell you what I don't like about this stuff, and I'm not very fond of all I don't like talking to the families of victims. I don't like talking to the families of people. I like to be an outsider looking in, and I do think there is a benefit to keeping a distance from the family because, but then the other flip side of it, when the family reaches out, you don't say no. But man, my heart's been broken over this Jepsi case, talking with the mother. And like, I mean, I'm literally chatting with her every day, letting her know that we're praying for her, letting her know if there was any updates. Today was obviously a big day in the Jepsi case because they released this headline. They released a headline that said homicide investigators have taken it over. That really, I don't like talking to the family when that kind of information comes out.
Yeah, so, I'm back, by the way.
Cool. Well, I don't even know why I went there because we were talking about.
No, it's fine. We were talking about the onesie picture.
Onesies and families. Well,
the onesies, the families.
I was doing, I think, when...
Yeah, it is hard talking to the families. It really is. And you know, in most of these cases, it's not a good outcome. You know?
Yeah, and when it's not a good outcome, but then again, on the flip side, I still, like, even with Jepsi's case, I still want to believe about the Kloss case, Jamie Kloss, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so like I am still hopeful and prayerful that Jepsi will come running out of somewhere and somebody will recognize her, understand who she is, help her, and so that's what I'm praying for.
I know.
I mean, I would so love to be able to tell Mom running out, and even if it was a horrifying story she told after the fact, I still would take that over anything.
Yeah, I hear you.
And that's what gives me hope, is because the problem is, like, this is happening a lot, and I got a case I'm going to talk about in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. Well, I'm going to do an interview in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. And I can tell you this, the interview is with an ex-presidential candidate's daughter. So an ex-U.S. presidential candidate's daughter. He was a U.S. president candidate. He wasn't a president, he was a candidate. And her daughter, or his daughter, has reached out, and it tells a very vivid, 100% firsthand story about the sex trade and the human trafficking here in Colorado. And as a matter of fact, she is actually tied to a criminal case where a guy got 32 counts of sex trafficking. 200 and it was sentenced to over 248 years in prison or something like that. 236 years in prison. And so it's something that has just it came from this Jepsi case because of talking about women, but that she's going to tell some very vivid stories that she was in houses with 5 and 6 other women who were out of their minds and didn't know where they were at, that were trapped there, kept there. And so and wow. She tells this story in a crazy way. So there's a lot of this going on. This guy's going.
That's going to be hard for you too, is to hear all that.
It is. It's going to be hard, but we're putting this story out there with a purpose, and you'll understand more about that purpose when we get to it. But you'll understand it's a purpose because there are still men today that were 100% involved in trafficking, and some of them got caught and others of them didn't get caught, and they're still walking around in Colorado today, and they're still very much involved in human trafficking.
We have a lot of that here in Detroit too, because of the Canadian border. There's a lot of sex trafficking here. And then like they have the auto show every year in January, and that's like a huge event. And there's a lot of shady stuff going on with that. People wanting.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I'm hearing stories of, and this woman's giving me details about how when things come here to Denver or come to Colorado, and they rent out entire hotel floors, And I mean, they have every floor on the hotel, and they have somebody at the elevator keeping.
That's what they do in deep.
Floor,
Yeah,
you know?
that's what they do for that auto show event.
Yeah, it's some sick,
It's sick.
sick stuff.
I want to address this girl that's yelling at me in chat. She's in all caps. She says, so, and I can't help but like read it yelling because she's like yelling at me. So why do you not want the petition? The petition is just people's way of trying to do something, trying to get some justice. What's wrong with that? And I didn't say there was anything wrong with like trying to do something. What I think is wrong is a YouTuber lying to you about things. That's what I think is wrong. So when I know the truth about something, if I can bring you the truth of it, if you don't want to know the truth, then by all means, just go listen to that. But you don't need to come here yelling. Like, if Shanann's family doesn't give a shit if Chris has those pictures, why do you? Why does anybody else? They're the ones that are the victims. They're the ones that lost their daughter and their grandchildren. If they don't care, why do you care so much? That's what I don't get. Ah, man. Then I have another question for you, Dwap. This is a nice question, though. She wants to know, and I can't remember. Oh, Zoe Justice. She wants to know what you think about those stains on the bumper, because I showed that picture last night, and we talked about
that
it.
One out, did you?
We talked about it a little bit last night.
I know. Okay, yeah. So I sent a picture over to Jay and said, "What do you look at you see anything on the bumper? You see the stains on the bumper?" And so that's really, I mean, that was it. I mean, it looks suspicious. It looks like, I mean, okay, so it looks suspicious because we know someone's missing, or we know someone now they're now investigating something as a homicide, and we're looking at the car that is registered to the man who ran to another state, and it looks like something has been leaking out of the trunk. It looks like something has stained, his car, and that's not an area in which oil spills. That's not an area like leaking from the motor. It's not something that's collected.
Yeah, and like, what did he do for a living? Didn't he work for like an aquarium place? That's what I found on his LinkedIn or something, that he worked in a warehouse for like fish supplies or something.
Well, yeah, and that's her mom asked me about that today, about his place of employment. And to be honest, I thought he did some work for his dad. He had going back out to work with his dad. I don't know what he's doing in California or what he did in Colorado. I do know he was in the military. I do know that he was a truck driver in the military, or he don't look like a truck driver, and the guy I was talking to didn't look like a truck driver, but that's what they claimed, that they were truck drivers.
So 2 questions. Rachel has one. Have the police searched her car or her apartment? We know they did search the apartment because you were there that day.
And she doesn't drive.
She doesn't have a car.
She didn't have a car, according to her family. And so when someone doesn't have a car, there are not a ton of people coming out of saying, "Hey, we're friends with Jepsi here in Colorado Springs," and he says, "Oh, she left with some friends," but no friends are coming forward. This thing has now made national news. The lies that he has told multiple family members, as well as, if you go back and check out the video that Jay did, she reads this long post that has now been deleted and is obviously not up anymore. But there's a long post he made. There's some text messages he has sent out to people. He's telling 3 or 4 different stories, and he took off. And which brings me to my next question. Have you talked to the person that took the pictures for you? Yes. And have they seen him there? Is his car still there? Yes. It is? As of this afternoon, his car was still there. So people are asking, or people will ask, well, who are you talking to? One, I'm not going to tell you because you can find out. But what I can tell you is they went to an address that, for all intents and purposes, we pulled through public records that said this could be the address he was at. It's registered somehow to his father. It may not be where his father lives, but it's somehow registered or a part of his. Somehow the address came back to his father. And so a gentleman in San Diego who lived 15 minutes away, he messaged me and said, "Hey, I'll go by the house." So I was like, "Cool." So he went by the house. He shot a quick video. It's not a detailed video, but he shot a quick enough video to confirm he was at the address which we thought he was at. Then he said, "I've looked at all the cars around here. There's only one car. It's parked right next. It's parked by this house." And he snapped a picture of it and the license plate. I didn't know if that was Dane's car. As a matter of fact, I was like, "Man, this doesn't really look like a." I just don't picture. I just didn't picture this guy in this car. It was an older vehicle. Yep. I'm closing down here in the next 20. I'll do it. Love you, baby.
Love you, baby.
So we took a picture. He took a picture of this car, sent it to us. Jay verified it through some of her people that this was in fact
somebody in it's his vehicle.
His vehicle, and as of today, that vehicle was still out in front of that house. I have a feeling that this source that's living right there now, this has become kind of like a daily routine to drive by there. I also know, I don't know if Julie Kay's in.
I haven't seen her.
Yeah, I don't know if she's in here in chat, but I also have text messages from called her out that says she's been calling Dane and he hasn't told her not to call back yet, like he told me.
She's talked to him?
Yeah, she actually talked to him. A quick I'm getting thrown to the couch. Like, "You're staying on the couch?" No, I'm just kidding. It's for my son. Julie Kay has said that she called and tried to talk to Dane, and he talked to her for a little bit, and then he hung up on her one time. And one time she called and left a message and said, "Do the right thing." And so I don't encourage harassing Dane on the phone there. I don't encourage anyone to harass Dane, but I do think he should be brought back to Colorado.
Absolutely, he should.
That Colorado Springs Police Department should
that link.
Look at that.
What? Oh, I took it off. I know I'm saving it for the end. That's gonna be my new ending. Is the ending's gonna end with Sophia, because we talk about such dark, like, sad stuff. So we're gonna end with a little bit of baby.
Oh, I like it. But anyway, so there's a lot going on in Jepsi's case. The crazy thing for me is, so now I need all you people in chat that like to follow up on these cases. You guys need to, if you guys see anything, let Jay know, let me know. If anything comes up where they are going to do press conferences, or if you get wind of a press conference that's going to happen, please let me know and we'll go there live. And then and hopefully that they bring someone into justice for this. Hopefully, we see that happen. We're going to go to the court. I mean, I'm going to go. I'm done. I'm done with everything else I do, and I'm going to follow these cases around.
Ooh, that's kind of a partial announcement there.
Yeah. So if I haven't told you already, the reason Dad with a Phone has been brought down and Woodland Park Underground has been brought down is because I'm working on a revamp for those 2 pages on Facebook. My YouTubes are still up, but I'm still doing a revamp on those 2 pages because next week, just starting Monday, I'm going to go Monday through Friday right here.
He's going to be officially full-time.
Officially full-time doing this. And so it'll be fun and exciting and scary and crazy all in the same.
Yeah, join the club.
It's gonna be fun to do it. And
hey, Tina, I want to apologize. I didn't realize that you were in all caps because of a vision problem. Because a lot of times, she said she's new to YouTube, so a lot of times that's taken as like shouting, like lots of exclamation points and caps. So I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to go at you. So thank you for explaining that, and I apologize. Mods, can you post Dad with a Phone's YouTube, please? his link so everybody can subscribe. And now we have Anderson Cooter in the chat. Instead
Cooter, you're in the house.
I love the Cooters. And they told me last night they're working on their own YouTube channel. So we're about to have like a Cooter YouTube channel.
I would love to have the Cooters on Dad with the Phone.
Oh my God, because. You hear that, Cooters?
Cooter, you can come on my channel anytime.
Everybody loves them. It's so fun.
Well, because it's the name Cooters. So.
They're hilarious. They're hilarious. So everybody's giving you go Michael.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Cheryl T. No, it'll be it's gonna be, and the cool thing is I'm gonna really focus on cases around Colorado because, well, we got a lot of them.
You do.
And I could, and there have been cases that I've talked about briefly, like the Mindy Lee case and the Joshua Maddox case. These are cases that happen here. There are still people that believe those cases are unsolved in the sense that they don't believe the official report. And those people have talked to us in the past. I believe they'll talk to us in the future. And then you have cases like Jepsi's, and this it's kind of maybe a little different, but I think I'm gonna start diving into this human trafficking stuff a little bit.
That's really cool. That can make a difference, you know.
Yep. So
another question for you real quick before you go. Dwap, did you see the email Dane wrote to his ex-wife? Christopher wants to know if you saw that.
That's the email you had, right, Jay?
Did I have it?
Did you have it in your video that we watched on the call? And you read it?
Oh, yeah. Video? Christopher, are you talking about the one where they're going back and forth about, like, custody? And, like, how he doesn't want her to disrespect Jepsi? Is it Jepsi or Gypsy?
I'm going to start saying Gypsy because I heard a video, and she's in the video, and it's her friends in the video, and I believe they pronounce it
Gypsy. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm going to do a video chat with the mom, too.
Oh,
She's been video chatting with everybody, and I asked her if
Does she speak English then?
She speaks broken English, but yeah, she speaks enough that you can understand her. And I'm gonna do a video chat with her mother here. Probably I might do that Friday morning. I'm gonna try to set that up for Friday morning, since that evening we'll be doing the live at the prayer service. There's some of the news reporters have spoken with her on video chat, but no one else has, and I haven't wanted to do that, but I think I reached out to her and she said she would totally do it. At the time I was like, well, I'm not really ready, let's set it up. So
Josh B wants to know, how far is Buena Vista? What does that mean?
Buena Vista's beautiful. What's going on there? We're not far. That's one of my favorite
places.
That's
near you?
Yeah, I mean, we're an hour and a half.
Hey, do you guys have any hot springs near you?
Yes, Buena Vista, girl. We'll take you to the best hot springs.
Dude, I want to go to hot springs. I've never been.
I'm going to take you to Mount Princeton. We'll take the family. We'll all go there.
Fun.
Ella loves it. Everybody. And if you come in June, it's really cool because it's summertime. And my kids, they have a big, 400-foot water slide fed by the hot springs.
Oh, how cool.
It's so fun.
I heard some of them give you kind of like herbs or for scent or whatever. You can take in like lavender or different things.
No, well, they have the hot springs where we go. They do a sauna with the eucalyptus oil.
Oh my God, we have to go.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
I wanted to go when I was visiting my son, and he didn't want to go. And then 2 months ago, he's like, "We should have went to hot springs when you were here." I'm like, "Dude, I was begging you to go."
Yeah, so there's a couple of hot springs over by Buena Vista actually, and so there's a couple hot springs by Buena Vista that are like commercial hot springs. And then there's a couple around the state that you can hike to, which are just natural hot springs people go to.
Oh, yeah. Like not manned by anybody or owned by anybody. Manned.
And then you have to ask the question one time. I took my kids through this hot spring colony. You'll have to ask. I'll have to tell that story a different time.
Oh my God.
It is a funny story. And our kids basically walked through a nudist colony in hot springs. but it's a funny story. Let's see what else.
Josh is going to be there in July, he said.
Well, what are you going to hook up? If you're going to Buena Vista, depending on how you're going in July, depending on the route you take, could come right through Woodland Park and it not be out of your way. So if depending on where you're coming from, if you come from Denver, you'll probably go up 285 and then kind of skip Woodland Park. But you could just make the drive down and come through Woodland, Josh B, and we could hook up. And I could tell you, I could tell you stories about Casey.
He said he's been there. He's been there.
Oh, okay, perfect, cool.
Josh B is just a traveler. He's in Vegas and all over the place. Sorry if you guys already talked about the email. I'm recently new to following both your channels, but I love everything you guys do and find interest in it. Thanks again. That was Christopher who had the question about the email. Thanks, Christopher.
No questions. No problem. Christopher, you should go. I think Jay, is that a video on Jay is for Justice?
It is, yep.
Yeah. So if you go find the video that Jay did of Jepsi, the email.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. And then you have the one of the phone call. What is that one titled? The one you ripped, just the phone call. Because someone was asking earlier.
I'll go grab the link and just throw it in the chat. I don't know.
Yeah, because you have a wrench, you're able to throw a link in there. So why don't you throw the link in there for that video, and then throw the link in there to your channel so that people can subscribe. Since you have a wrench, you can do that.
Hey, you gonna keep throwing that at me? That's hilarious.
Josh B said, "Will do, man." So he's gonna hit you up.
Yeah, definitely hit me up. So there's it's a set. We did an 8-minute phone call. It's literally an 8-minute phone call that was with Dane and with his father-in-law.
His father-in-law is a peach.
So that's the link to the phone call.
Oh, look at that! Dad with a phone can share links.
And then and if y'all are, Jay's being a smart ass because I run my channel without wrenches. And I have a couple of wrenches.
Okay,
so
that was the link to the video, you guys, of the phone call.
Yeah, so the first link is the video of the phone call. The second link is just the link to my channel. And if you subscribe, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Jay doesn't endorse anything I say, so don't judge Jay by my channel. Yeah,
everything he brings here are purely his opinions.
And and then if you want to listen to, I think I haven't put up the did I put up just the phone call with the cops? Maybe I did.
I don't know if you did that one. I know it was the one with the father-in-law.
I think I just did that up on Facebook, which means it's not going on. It's not on there now. But I'm gonna put up I'm gonna put a link right now to the 3-hour version of that talk.
Good night, Anne. The 3-hour live.
Yeah, the 3-hour live, because there is some important information that comes out in there. One, you need to find out how hard it is to report that you have information about a case. And it wasn't super hard, but it took us about 20 minutes to get to someone,
right,
that would actually listen to us. We got through.
We made a lot. You got a lot done in that 3 hours, though.
Oh, no. That's why I told somebody the other day that was like, I can't believe how long it took. And I was like, yeah, but we did it all in a 3-hour show. I mean, it was like we made a phone call to the cops and they called us back and we got information and we told them information. And so it all did go down. It wasn't like it took all day. But if you were someone that was calling in a tip, that you wanted to get that tip off your chest and then get out, might be a little intimidating. So
Suzanne just asked, and I don't know why she asked me this, but Suzanne Davis said, Jay is for Justice. Have you ever met Kid Rock? Totally random. I'm sorry. I went to school with Kid Rock.
Dude, Jay is like best friends. We're going to have Kid Rock on a show soon. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Kid Rock's going to come on live with me. When Trump's running for prez, we're gonna do some Trump talk.
Dude, that's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do Trump talk.
Trump talk's gonna be fun. You know, isn't it crazy that's coming up 2020?
I'm gonna run for mayor in 2020.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'm gonna run for mayor of Woodland Park. They're already scared, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna run for mayor, and I have to get 25 signatures. I'm gonna get 25.
25. That's it.
That's it. That's all you have to do. That's why I have that the poster of the city limits. You have to live inside the city limits.
So how many people live in the city limits? What's the population there?
There's like 5,000. No, there's like 5,000. Oh, 7,500 is what they say lives in the city limits. But there's like, I think there's only like 5,000 registered voters. And so, but it's really interesting because I know a lot of people. I mean, I know a lot of people. And
dude, you could probably walk into the Safeway and get your 25.
Oh no, well I did like a coffee meet and greet and got like 15, and I ended up getting 75 signatures turned in on this last election.
You tripled what was needed.
Well, yeah, I did it because I just did it as a joke because the mayor, I have a whole conversation with the mayor in a city council meeting. He's like, "Why don't you do something good for the city?" And I said, "I want to run for mayor." And they kind of snickered at me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, watch me." And then I got all the signatures, and I realized, what the hell am I doing? I don't want to run for mayor. And so I backed out because I was kind of scared. But now I'm not going to be scared, and now I got a plan. So,
another question, real quick. Christopher, the new sub. He said, was there anything else interesting with your interview with his army buddy? I just saw a few-minute video you cut.
Yeah. And I took a lot of shit for letting that video go out, too. So the army buddy. Oh, no. Okay, first of all, if you call me, if you want to talk to me, especially if you call me on my burner phone, I'm going to record that shit. And so here's what happened. I went and had a meeting with a guy, and I told him I recorded everything. But at the meeting, all I did was set my phone down in front of us that was recording. Mm-hmm. And then, he started, because I don't know who this guy was. First of all, you have to know how this meeting came about. Jay tells me, hey, so-and-so wants to hook you up with so-and-so. He's on Gold Camp Road. Well, first of all,
he's like, what?
I'm meeting him there. Gold Camp Road. It's either you're riding dirt bikes or you're murdering people. That's it. That's all that happens on Gold Camp Road. You ride dirt bikes and trails or you murder people in Colorado Springs. So when Jay tells me some guy wants to meet me and he's on Gold Camp Road, I'm like, forget that nonsense. He can meet me down the street from my house. Forget it. I ain't going. Well, he ends up coming up and meet me up here. So I find out that this is a military buddy of Dane. And the military buddy says, he gives me info, and you can listen to it. Dane, his nickname in the military, maybe not to his face, but for all the guys that were around him, was Teddy Bear, because he's this big kind of goofy,
Is he a big dude?
Yeah, he's a big guy, 6'4", 280.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw his Facebook, I was like, dude, this guy looks scary. You gotta be careful.
Oh no, you're talking about the military guy. No, yeah. The military guy's a shorter guy. He's not. He's got some tattoos or whatever.
He looked big.
He wasn't that big. But Dane, they called the big teddy bear.
Oh.
So, listen. According to his buddy, he just couldn't see Dane doing this. And he's so nice. And, he could never do that. But isn't that what we always say about those guys? Isn't it always the nice guy? If it was the guy that everyone was like, oh yeah, I knew he was going to kill his wife. Mm-hmm. No, those are the ones that we find out and we stop those people, They start investigating those.
Yeah.
It's the ones that you don't think about, that you look at, that you say, no. But I say this all the time, especially when it comes to death. Like, it's a thin veil. Like, it's just a little curtain between us. And life is fragile at the very beginning, it's fragile at the very end, but it's fragile all the way in between. So people make decisions split second that change it. So what did I get from that interview with the military guy? I get that yeah, I think he's involved, but I don't know how much.
What did that guy think, or did he not tell you? He was just kind of on the fence.
No, I mean, he said, because so this guy had text message conversations with Dane, and Dane didn't even tell him that his wife was missing. Like, the guy asked him, "How's the marriage?" And Dane answers, "It's rocky, it's on the rocks." But this is after his wife has vanished. And so he doesn't even tell a military buddy who's texting him that his wife is vanished, because the military guy even tells me, "I played stupid, I played dumb, I didn't want to act like I knew."
Mm-hmm.
And then later in their conversations, when he pushes for more info and says, "Hey, can you give me some more info?" Then he says, Dane just plays stupid. He's like, changes the subject. He says, "Let's talk about cars," or he doesn't say, "Let's talk about cars." He asks about his Supra. I guess he's got a Supra too.
A what?
A Supra? It's not a Subaru, but what's the Supra? Is it a Supra?
Oh, it's a car. I don't know.
Yeah, it's another
Romad
car.
would know. Romad.
Yeah, Romad would know. So yeah, there's some sort of like some car that he had. So I don't know. That guy thinks now because he acted a little shady. I was pointing it out. I was like, "Why didn't he tell you about his wife?" And he was like, "I don't know," And so,
well, he was telling all sorts of stories.
But yeah,
she went with a friend. She left him, so he wasn't worried. I don't even know.
And so people have to understand, this is the same thing Patrick Frazee did. He told all kinds of stories too. He talked to Cheryl, told one story. He talked to the brother, told a different story. Talked to the cops for 15 minutes and tells a different story too. And so, like, that tells stories that don't match up with phone pings, video records of him and stuff like that. So when people start lying, they start telling detailed stories.
And they forget stories they told too.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think Thomas Jefferson said, "No man is a good enough liar." Or no man has a good enough memory to be a good liar, or something like that. Like, because you don't remember what you say to people. And so, and then when you tell details, again, this is another reason we know KK's lying, because the details she's telling are so random and so whack jobbish. But when you tell details about stories and stuff like that, you're lying. You're lying. You're lying.
Yeah, when you give too much information, it's like, it's so obvious someone's lying. They go way too deep into, like, you haven't even asked them about that part of it, and they're already giving you the information. When they're giving you information you haven't asked for, it's most of the time it's a lie.
Yeah. And you can tell he's set up to lie. You know how I know he's set up to lie? Because he told the story to a total stranger that called him up. Like, that happened. Y'all were there. Like,
yep.
If people call me,
I would have told you to go kick rocks.
Right? Hung up. Click.
Or if you were, are you willing to help? If not, go kick rocks.
But he didn't even want to hear help. Dad was listening.
No, he didn't. And his dad didn't want to hear help either.
Nope.
He said, if my ex-wife went missing, I wouldn't give a shit.
And then Dad tells, I said, "So do you think your son had something to do with his wife's disappearance?" The dad goes, "I know for a fact." I wish you would have shared the facts with us.
Yeah, you asked him. So what are those facts?
What are the facts you know?
You're like, okay, well, what are they? Like,
tell us something. But see, that's the thing is with this case, I think they know. I think the family has known. But also, we've been lied to by the cops too already. So I have to bring that up. I cannot forget, I went back and listened to the interview with the cops, and the cops told me very specifically that we have been in contact with a family contact and the mother. And they said mother.
And she said no, they hadn't.
I asked the mother, and she says she hadn't talked to anybody from law enforcement. And now the mother has spoken with law enforcement. The mother also has spoken with multiple media sources, and the mother is now in contact with multiple Filipino organizations here in Denver and Colorado Springs,
which is awesome.
as well as in San Francisco. And I actually have a message from the mother. She has obtained a travel visa.
Oh, yay!
And so she has her visa, or she's in the she's getting the visa. It's obtained. She told me she obtained it, so I have to believe she's getting it there. I also believe that there are some organizations that are setting up some housing when she gets here, and different things like that. And so I know that Jay reached out to her. I saw a message between Jay and her about funding, or if any way anybody could help. I don't know if she contacted you back, Jay.
She did. And I still have to do that. And someone mentioned it last night, and I need to do. I'll do it after we get off here. I don't forget. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things wherever if people are whatever. I've had people ask if she needed help.
People were asking last night too, and I'm like, I got to get that going and get a link up there. So. Yeah,
and I don't know. I'll tell you this much: it's like anything. Any of us can probably put ourselves in her shoes for a second, and that is, if you could put yourself and feel that pain that she's having in the hospital. It's going to be hard for her to come here. It's going to be difficult to deal with the things that are ahead, especially if we don't get any closure, whether it be a story that Dane tells us or a story that we get from somebody. So, well, any other questions?
Let's see. Any other questions before we sign off here? It's 1:08 here.
7:08.
I know it's still early there.
We've been going 2 hours. I'm done for the night, though.
Beth Wilba, yeah, her mom is waiting for her visa. Hopefully she get here soon. I think we have a friend in the chat.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I want to end this with some little cuteness. Are you ready for cuteness?
Let's see some cuteness.
You know I love it. Look at that.
Oh, look at Miss Beautiful.
Isn't she? Oh my gosh, she's such a good baby.
You're a little. You're not still there. You're back home, right?
I'm home. Yeah, she's actually stayed the night with me this past weekend.
Nice.
And she has her little J's for Justice onesie on in the other picture.
I know. I'm gonna have to get Underground or Dad with a phone.
Oh my God! Yes. Made. She needs a little mugshot shirt.
Oh my God. Somebody told me they bought a mugshot. Oh, they bought a mugshot shirt and sent their kid to school in it.
Oh my
why would
God!
you do that?
That's okay. Now that's kind of. I'm not gonna say stupid because I don't want to insult your listeners, but that's a little bit crazy.
No, it ain't. I think it's brilliant. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
So if anybody doesn't know, that's my little granddaughter. She's 3 weeks old.
Oh.
And we love her to pieces. So I got her. Listen, I gotta tell you a story real quick. So I got Easter basket stuff today, and I got Sophia her first Easter presents, and she's getting baby's first laptop and baby's first phone.
Why would you do that?
They're the little VTech toys.
I know.
They're so cute.
Kids are gonna be so addicted.
I know.
I took my shit away from my kids today. I changed the whole game on them.
You did? Uh-oh. Now dad's dad with a phone's gonna be dad at home.
I'm gonna be dad at home and things are gonna change.
Uh-oh.
Only because it's just parenting. Whatever. All right, beautiful little girl.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on tonight, Mike. And I'm holding you to Thursday, the Waco talk. So get on the horn with your mom and dad and get some scoopage on Crash.
I'll get some scoopage on the dog breeding, if they were actually breeders,
picture
how that all came about. If we get a picture
of Peanut. Was that his name, Peanut?
No, Prince.
Prince. I'm just
shrimp. It was shrimp, I think.
Shrimp. It was shrimpy. All right.
So,
oh my god.
All right. Hey, thank you kids for watching, and like and subscribe wherever, or you don't have to.
Yeah, like and subscribe to Dan with a Phone, and like and subscribe to me.
There you go.
Thanks for being here. Thanks, Cooters. Thanks, mods.
All right.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.